Welcome to the Careers by Jen podcast, episode 221. Today on the podcast, Jen talks with Robert Moment about how to get promoted. That's after you get the job, right?
You're listening to the Careers by Jen podcast with me, Jen Swanson, the podcast that helps you to get the job, love your work, and advance your career. Hey friends, welcome to this episode of Careers by Jen, the podcast. I'm Jen Swanson. My throat is a little funny today. I'm tired. We're still preparing for our daughter's wedding coming up soon, and there's been lots going on and work and everything, and you know how it gets when you've got all sorts of extracurricular stuff happening and you still have to get your basic stuff done. So that's why my voice is a little off today. But I am excited to talk to you about this topic, about getting a promotion. Have you been in a job for a while and you come to that point where, wow, I should move up. I should do something more interesting, or I really want to be there, but I'm here right now. Or maybe it's time to ask for a raise or for a job that has more responsibility. Well, our guest today is going to help answer some of the questions around how to go about asking for a promotion and getting promoted. Robert Moment is the Get Hired expert and an interview coach who specializes in teaching professionals how to interview using skills and strategies that make them stand out and get hired and get more money. And Robert was a good person to talk to about getting promoted because he has over 2 decades of corporate experience and he's worked for some Fortune 500 companies. So I started off my interview by asking Robert what the biggest block to asking for a promotion is. And let's find out the answer right after this.
You've updated your resume, you've sent it out, and you've been selected for an interview. Congratulations! And now you want to get ready, really ready. This is where Careers by Jen can help. We have a comprehensive online course called How to Ace a Job Interview When You Haven't Interviewed in a Long Time. This video-based course is jam-packed with information, advice, and exercises to help you get completely prepared to walk into an interview situation with confidence. From exactly what to prepare in advance, to how to answer common questions, to what questions you might ask the interviewer, and so much more, this course is designed to get you ready. Visit careersbyjen.com and click on Training Resources to see the curriculum, preview a couple of the introductory lessons, and see what others who have taken the course are saying about it. Visit careersbyjen.com and get ready to ace your next interview.
What is the biggest block to asking for a promotion?
I would say, Jen, the biggest block, a lot of people don't think they deserve a promotion.
Really?
They don't think they deserve it. And even though they are asking for it, but are they really prepared? And a lot of times I think when they are asking for it, they don't really have the preparation. And when I say preparation, there's a lot of things that builds up to a promotion. And when I say build up to a promotion, first, it has to be a win-win situation. You have to really be able to show your value. And why do you want the promotion?
So those are the things that the person has to be thinking about before they ever get into this situation. And if they're not sure if they want a promotion, does all the preparation sometimes stop them in the first place?
Well, it does stop them in the first place. A preparation, when you're talking about a promotion, a lot of times people want to equate promotion with longevity on a job and sometimes even experience. And I think that's a misnomer. And I always tell individuals, you have to be able to distinguish between qualified for a promotion or the best qualified for a promotion. And what I mean by that, you can be qualified, but let's say, for instance, you don't have a good attitude, you're not a team player. But then the best qualified, positive attitude, team player, likability factor in the office. So you can be qualified, but you're not the best qualified. And And that plays a key role in the decision making of the manager, the VP. How are you perceived within that office?
And how does a person find that out if they are wondering whether or not they should even start the process of asking for a promotion?
Well, to start the process, if you have the talent and the skills and you're adding value to that organization, then yes, a promotion is well deserved. I always try to break it down into 3 categories. Know your value, be able to effectively communicate your value, and then demonstrate your value within the workplace. Now, to demonstrate that, you can take on added projects, show leadership, be visible, build relationships, quality relationships within the organization, but also across departments. So when you start to do that, you're positioning yourself to get promoted. And it's critical to have really good soft skills when you're looking to be promoted in today's competitive. And soft skills, people skills, team building, critical thinking, creativity, to be able to collaborate. And when you start to position yourself and show value and also be a problem solver, because companies love problem solvers, whether you can save the money or again, make the money.
Right. So that was the first thing, was to position yourself, and you had a couple more.
Yeah, to be visible. You want to be visible, and visible. I think the key is to get a promotion is first to schedule a meeting with your manager and just have open career dialogue, open and honest career dialogue, and express your desires to be promoted. And when you express your desires to be promoted, then you can get the feedback from your manager, and your manager might say, well, John, you need to work on your soft skills or maybe your hard skills. But now you can start to position yourself based on the feedback that you get from your manager. And then you can lay out your plan and start to set short-term and even long-term realistic goals. And once you identify a position that you want to apply for, I highly recommend individuals to go to human resources and get a written description of that job, because now you will understand clearly the roles and responsibilities. Promotion is all about clarity. Clarity, what do you want? And not what do you want, why do you want it? And I think that's the driving force. And it should not be about money, just money.
So do you think it takes time then? Like what kind of time frame do you think a person should give themselves when they're considering asking for promotion?
I believe if you're starting, starting a new job, or if you've been on a job for 2 years, there's no set time frame. I feel you can get promoted within 3 months, 6 months, or within a year. But if you have a clearly defined plan, and that clearly defined plan is based on preparation, and that preparation, start to document your successes. And when I said document your successes, turn those successes into quantitative results. Because when you have to build a case. And when you're building a case, then you can justify a win-win situation where you're adding value to the company, and also you're positioning yourself to be indispensable.
So do you recommend talking to your manager first, as you said before, or thinking about this and doing some self-reflection and some planning on your own before you even go in there? Because if you're pitching a case, then you're going to need to have done a bunch of homework before you ever talk to your manager. Or do you recommend doing it the other way around?
Good question, Jen. I would say first, self-reflection, soul searching. And once you decide what you want to do and where you want to go within the organization, then you can present your case to your manager. But first, be clear. Clarity, like I said, clarity is everything. Know what you want and why you want it, because that's the fuel. The why is the fuel. And yes, you want to maybe a better salary, but that shouldn't be the only driving force. It could be professional and career growth and development, because money is not going to always make you happy. So it should be more than just money. It could be, for instance, you want a VP. First, before you become a VP, a director. So it should be, where do you want to position yourself career-wise? And it shouldn't, like I said, the money will show up, I truly believe, but it shouldn't be the driving force.
So promotion, so it's not just about the money. It could be about status. It could be about wanting to have a change because you're bored. It could be that you're working your way up to your dream job that you can see, but you have to go through 3 or 4 different steps before you get there. There are lots of reasons why you might want to head towards that promotion. What do you say to somebody who says, I deserve it?
This is what I would say. Why? Why do you deserve it? And when I say why, at least give me 3 to 5 reasons on why you deserve it. You could say, I have the skills, I have the soft skills, I have the hard skills, I'm a team player, I've added value in these areas, I've saved the company money. If they can state that case, then I would highly recommend them to go for it.
And when you're talking about making a plan, what are the components of that plan?
The plan first, identify the position. And then in terms of strategy, once you've identified who are the key players within that organization, key players, it could be the VP, the department head that you want to be a part of that organization or that department, start to build quality relationships. Networking. Most people think networking is always outside of an organization, but you have internal networking. And internal networking is key because you want to understand the culture, the dynamics, because politics does play a part in corporations. You cannot ignore that, because once you learn and observe the culture, then you need to listen and learn and start to strategize. Then you can ask for bigger roles, bigger responsibilities, and demonstrate your leadership abilities. And here's the one key. When you start, you have to make a mental shift as well. You need to go from thinking as an employee to a manager.
And that makes a difference. You have to think as a manager. So is that sort of the idea of imagining yourself in that role before you ever get there? Is that the idea?
I believe in visualization.
Yeah.
Yes. See yourself in that position and see yourself successful in that position.
And what does that do for you?
Motivation. Motivation, when you start to see yourself a certain way, they said believe, achieve. If you start to believe, you can achieve. I truly believe, yes, positive thinking, that will lead you to a promotion, because then all of a sudden you're going to start to take the action steps. Once again, start to get noticed, start to network, and you're building value. And also start to look at opportunities where you can make a difference, because opportunities a lot of times are hidden in plain view.
Opportunities are hidden in plain view, as in opportunities to help somebody else do something or work on a project or something like that?
All the above. I would say work on projects. Also look for problems, because problems, when you look for problems and you can identify and solve problems, all of a sudden you're starting to not only start to position yourself for promotion, but also you're starting to build a reputation within the organization. And that's also, you could almost put that in the same category as personal branding.
As personal branding?
Yeah, personal branding.
Right. And do you recommend people do that within an organization?
Yes, I do.
Do you want to explain what it is in case somebody listening doesn't know what that is?
Well, personal branding, think about whether it's Coca-Cola, whether it's Nike, it's your brand. It defines who you are and what value you bring to the marketplace. And LinkedIn is probably one of the best places where you can start to build your personal brand, because it's the biggest business network. But even within the organization, if you're noted, they said Jen is noted for troubleshooting A, B, and C. Jen is noted for saving us money. You start to build that positive relationship. A lot of times, Jen, you can get promoted without even asking.
Well, and that's interesting, because we talk about LinkedIn and we think about LinkedIn as a tool to help people who are in a job search. but not so much in a promotion within the same organization. But that's a good point. So that if you're working in an organization and you want to move into a different area of that very same organization, it's still important to keep up your LinkedIn.
Yes, it is. It's very important. And here's what I would recommend all of your great listeners to do, if they haven't already. Google has a great tool. It's called Google Alerts. And here's how you can, it's one thing to get, yes, you want to get promoted, and also to add value, which that is critical. But also you want to know what the competition is doing. And also you want to be able to continue to keep abreast of industry trends. And what Google Alert does, you can type in corporations, you can type in keywords, for instance, let's say business analyst, whatever it is, you get those free alerts. And also that can help your case in terms of being promoted. And what I'd say, look at opportunities. What are other companies doing? And let's say, for instance, this company is doing something that they have streamlined productivity. Well, your manager might not know that, but you can share that with your manager and say, John, I just saw this great article. I got it through Google Alerts, how XYZ company is streamlining their productivity. Is this something maybe we can implement? That's adding value.
Right. And that's adding value, and it's working for the good of the company in general.
Yes. And you alluded to something, Jen, earlier about helping others. I believe help others to succeed. First, be kind and help others to succeed. Don't have the attitude that you want to push them off the corporate ladder.
Yeah. Yeah, that's probably not a good way to get friends and friends and allies. Yeah. I want to ask you a question. We're going to take a break in a second, but I want to ask you, as soon as we get back from the break, I want to ask you, what are some things you recommend people don't do when they want to be promoted? So we'll be right back, and I'll jump in with that question.
Are you procrastinating? Do you want to start a job search but aren't quite sure where to begin? Is it all just a little overwhelming? At Careers by Jen, we have a 5-day Jumpstart Your Job Search Challenge to help you get unstuck and move toward finding your dream job. Every day for 5 days, you'll receive an email to your inbox that asks you to complete one task. Every task you complete moves you closer toward your goal. The best part about this challenge is that it's absolutely free. Come over to careersbyjen.com and you'll see the 5-day Jumpstart Your Job Search Challenge on the right-hand side of the screen. Click on the image of Jen, sign up with your email address, and you'll be 5 days closer to reaching your goal. Why wait when you can get busy? Visit careersbyjen.com after this podcast.
Okay, so I'm speaking with Robert Moment, and I'm going to ask you, Robert, to let the listener know, what should we not do when we want to go in and talk to our manager about being promoted?
Number one is being unprepared. And number two, I truly believe when people go in, they make this mistake is it's all about them and not the corporation. When it's all about them, the manager or whoever you're making your case, they're not able to see the value. They automatically start to tune you out. So one, lack of preparation. Two, it's all about the individual asking for a request. And also two, number three, Jen, I would say they might even lack the skills. And the skills could be hard skills. It could be soft skills. It could be even lack of professionalism.
Yeah, and that's a big one. The hard skills are things that you can acquire if you have a plan, and you can go and take that course or learn how to do X or whatever. But soft skills are harder to learn. I know, because I used to teach them, and I still do in my podcast episodes, is talk about a lot about soft skills. So if someone, first of all, is even aware that they're lacking something in the soft skills department, how do they go about maybe developing that skill in order to be a candidate for promotion?
you can look at it, you can go books, seminars, listen to our podcast. So it's a lot of ways, because you should always continue to learn and grow. And I think the best way to know about whether you have good soft skills or you need to improve is to talk to your peers. If they can be transparent and honest, they will tell you because most people want other people to succeed and say, what do you think? How would you rate my soft skills from a scale 1 to 10, 10 being the highest? Well, Robert, right now we see about a 4. Why a 4? Well, you're very abrupt. And a lot of times you don't show compassion. Whatever it is, then you need to be able to take that constructive criticism and see how you can improve on it.
That's really good advice, because if we're not willing to be vulnerable and to ask those hard questions, then it's really hard to grow and to change and to get to where you want to be. And it's not just the asking of the question, but it's being willing to listen.
When we stop listening, Jen, we stop learning.
Yeah.
We stop learning about ourselves, and we stop learning on how we can improve.
Yeah. I want to switch gears for a second, Robert, and ask you a little bit about you, because I want to know how you came to be doing this kind of work that you're doing.
Well, I came about doing it. I was helping colleagues to interview successfully, to stand out and get hired. And one day, several years ago, maybe 8 years ago, a colleague said, "Do you know you can do this for a living?"
You were working for someone else at the time.
Yes. And I said, "Really?" And as he said, one thing led to another. And I realized the jobs, Jen, that I got working for iconic Fortune 500 companies, I was able to successfully stand out and interview. And most of the companies, that was at least 4 or 5 interviews that I had to be a part of before I even got an offer. So I realized it was things I was already doing naturally. So that's how I became an interview coach, the get hired expert. And then too, I have such a love and a passion for helping people to succeed. So that's really the fuel in my fire. That's the why that I'm doing what I do, because I love helping people to succeed, to stand out and get hired, and to be their natural selves. Don't get tense interviewing. I want to really focus on your strengths. What are you good at? And we'll help clients to identify it, because a lot of times people have hidden strengths that they don't even realize they have.
That's true. And our books sound very similar. You wrote a book called Starting a New Job, How to Succeed Faster in the First 90 Days of Employment, which is very similar, because mine is how to stand out, what they see, how to stand out and shine in your new job. And mine is also about the first 90 days. So that's very interesting. And what led you to write the book?
What led me to write the book, when I coach clients, I always follow up, how is it going on your job, the first 30 days and 60 days? And several clients started to experience problems within the first 30 and 60 days. And I said, well, do you have a plan for the first 30, 60, 90 days, and even 1 year? And they said, well, I'm just trying to survive my 91st day. And I said, you got to do more than that. And it's certain things, Jen, that they didn't do in place when they started the job day one. So that's what led to me to write the book.
That's great. And then, so you've got the book, you've got some courses out. What's what lights you up the most about the work that you do?
When people say the magic words, they made me a job offer. Yes, those are the magic words. I love, they made me a job offer. Yes, those are the magic words, because I felt as though, okay, I'm making a difference. Really, I'm making a difference.
Making a difference. So you've mentioned a few times the importance of having a plan, whether it be a plan that you prepare before you go in to ask for that promotion, or a plan for the first few months of your new job. And did you always have a plan, or is this something that you learned that had to be done along the way?
I learned along the way, because when I started, I could even name companies, not to name names, but I did not have a plan. Didn't know the recruiter call or the headhunter. I went through the interview process. Now I got the title, the salary. And I said, okay, how am I going to survive? But I did not have a plan. Early on in my career, Jen, no. I showed up in my suit and tie, but I didn't have a plan. And I realized why I didn't have a plan. I was never taught. You go to college, and yes, they teach you how to interview, and they teach you, resume writing skills, cover letters. But when they didn't teach me how, yes, professionalism, but how to navigate the first 90 days and even 1 year for that real job. So I realized, and luckily I had some people who mentored me, coached me, and showed me on my third job, said, you do have to have a plan. If you want to see yourself as an account executive, corporate account executive, you need to have a plan. So I've always had my 90-day plan and even 1 year, but I didn't always have it early on in my career.
There was this workshop. I do workshop facilitation. I was doing a workshop on youth employment a few years ago. And I did this fun exercise where I asked them about things that they knew they were supposed to do every single day, like floss their teeth or brush their teeth or make their bed or whatever. So I had them write down the top 3 things that they were supposed to do every day. And they got together in groups and, talking about whether they did these things or not. And then I had them all come back together. And I said, what are the things that you had on your list? And they named them off, and they were all those kinds of things: exercise, eat breakfast, all those things. And I said, how many of you have managed your career on your list? And of course, none of them did. And I looked at them with great, shock and said, why not? And then they laughed. Right. And we had this whole conversation, and it was the point was that if you're trying to get a job, and even if you do have a job, there are things you can do every single day that manage your career, whether you're trying to find a job and it's simply looking through LinkedIn or updating your resume or learning about things, but also in your job, there are things that you can do every day to manage your career. And I wonder if you have one that is particularly important in your view, in your experience, that people should be doing on a regular, if not daily, but a regular basis. Is there something you think people should do all the time, like flossing your teeth, only for your career?
I love that exercise that you gave them, Jen. I think it's awesome. It's an awesome exercise. And it's also a wake-up call to all of our listeners as well. I would say I always go back to this. Always show and demonstrate your value.
Okay, how?
Always go above and beyond whatever you're doing. Keep a positive attitude, but that's showing your value to the organization, because perception is reality, and perception is what people see. That positive attitude, going above and beyond, being kind and helping others to succeed, that's adding value. So I always go back to the word, always add value. Demonstrate value each and every day in the workplace.
That's great advice. Robert, I want to ask where people can find out more about you and all the things that you're doing.
Well, Jen, they can go to, and I will spell this out, it's How to Ace an Interview. It's HOWTOANINTERVIEW.com. They can see books, free e-courses. All of my materials are on that site.
HowToAceAnInterview.com.
Yes.
Excellent. And one last piece of advice for the Careers by Jen listener.
One piece of advice: believe in yourself and your value. Effectively communicate it and demonstrate it each and every day in the workplace. Take action and get promoted.
That's awesome. Thank you, Robert, so much for taking the time to be with us today.
Well, thank you for having me, Jen, on your great show. Continued success.
Thank you. You've been listening to Careers by Jen with Jen Swanson. If you like what you heard, please share this. If every single person listening today shared this episode with just one friend, our audience would be twice as big, just like that. And the more people we can help with our content, the better. So help out a friend and help grow our audience by sharing this show with someone you know who would benefit from the content. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do that, and together we can make a difference. Until next time, take good care.